Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to the first in a series of speaker series, we call it, for the Grimm Family Center for Agricultural Business. My name is Aaron Hegde. I'm the Executive Director for the Grimm Family Center for Ag Business and a Professor of Economics here at CUCB. So this is something we do every month. The last Wednesday of every month, where we have speakers from different aspects of the ag industry. Sometimes we'll have a panel, like today we'll have a conversation with individuals that are pretty important in the industry, and they share information about themselves and how the industry works. And so today, you may have noticed the flyer. It said produce aisle. Without the A, that was intentional. Because you think of produce when you go to the grocery store, it's like an island, right? So it's a separate thing than the regular. I wish that was true. It was a mistake. It was a typo. So we fixed that. But anyways, so before I get started, a few people I want to acknowledge, I want to thank. So none of this stuff would happen without Trisha Harmon, who's in the back there. Please. She's the key support for the Grimm Center, and we have two of our interns who also support Trisha and do a lot of things for the center. And the one person you see clicking the pictures in the back is Chantel. I'm there. Thank you. And then Bella is in the back over there. And I also want to thank the library for allowing us to be this year. So Frank, you won't see, but he's behind and managing all the IT stuff. And then Bree is recording us. And so we'll put this on our website, as well as we have a YouTube channel. So you can, if you miss something, you can do that. And of course, I want to thank our students for being here, because without you, we wouldn't have this. And then we need students to, and of course, engage in conversations. Hopefully, that's what it's called today, is a conversation. But I also want to acknowledge a few people here. So I want to thank them. So our provost, who's relatively brand new to the campus, Provost Steen. And then our dean of the business college, Dean Coors. Then I have some colleagues from my department, economics. So back there you have Dr. Michieka in the red shirt. He didn't realize red is Fresno, but. And then behind him is Dr. Ryan. And then standing up here is Dr. Deal. And then we also have a few people from the university. Dr. Paleologo is sitting next to Dr. Michieka over there. And then I also want to thank a couple of our friends here, Yuri Sakamaki from the EGO, and Heather Panella from Advancement. So I think I got everybody. So again, thank you all for being here. So I have the privilege today, this is the first in our series for the year. And this is one of these things which makes, I think, agriculture so great, is people are always so giving. And it just so happened, some happenstance, that David and I met. It was actually our president. He sent me a text and he said, you should meet this person. I wasn't sure what it was about. And if you know our president, that's pretty common, because he's thought about it in his head, but wasn't in text. So we talked about it, and there's a potential project that we're going to work on our campus. And then, of course, as we started talking, got to know David, and amazing story. It's very inspirational and stuff that he's done. So I thought, hey, perfect. Would you be willing to share all this stuff with our campus? And of course, without hesitation, he said yes. So who is David? So David Espinoza, as you can see over there, is a co-founder of the International Fruit Company. That's his job, right? That's what he did. He also works for another company called Heranis, which Dr. Paleologo is Greek, so she'll appreciate that they're also Greek. So they're in Delano, they're big grapes and other berries. And so the neat thing about the International Fruit Company, as you'll see, and I'm sure he'll share that, that company owns the brand Chiquita for everything except for the bananas. So just imagine, when you see anything that says Chiquita, it's from this company, International Fruit Company. So in addition to selling fruits here, fruits and, well, all kinds of fruits, here in California, they do this all over the world. So anytime, Time to David is been talking to somebody from somewhere else. So the class I have is an agricultural trade class. So this is the kind of stuff that you can do with the agricultural trade. So originally from Chile, and then grew up all over the world, basically, but has been in Bakersfield. And again, we've talked about this. Same thing. I grew up elsewhere, but consider Bakersfield home. So David and his wife Magdalena is here too. So thank you for being there, and his children. Youngest daughter who just started CSUB. So there's a good connection. Yes. So it's a good connection. So what I will do is, so David's got a short presentation. We'll go through that. And then we have a little fun thing we'll do with all of you. Because one of the things you can do today is win this little guy here. This is Bartholomew. He is the mascot for the Grimm Family Center for Ag Business, affectionately known as Bart. The only way you can get him, is to win him, right? So you can try every trick in the book to get it. You can bribe us, but will not happen. And then, of course, this bag, and then this journal. So there'll be some fun questions, and then whoever wins can get these things. Okay? So without further ado, Mr. David Espinosa.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a real honor. Thanks a lot. When we met and we spoke about the opportunity of today, I thought about, okay. I mean, I'm going to talk about myself, easy. Who's not going to do that? I mean, very easy. Then let's talk about my experience and my career. I've been doing this business since forever, my whole life, for good or bad. So then I said, okay, no problem. I can talk about what I do every day. And I've been doing the last, I would say, I'm not going to say my age, but I'm going to be 59 in a month from now. So I can talk for 35 years. And then Dr. Aaron told me it's going to be maybe less than 1 hour. Okay, I cannot talk about all of that. And of course, I'm going to love to have some Q&As because today we're going to have takeaways, and I wish and I really hope you're going to have takeaways for you. But I really hope to have my takeaway, which is pick the brain of the young people here in this room to take something to my home. So I love to meet young persons. I love to meet people who are learning, growing, and people with desire, ambition to do something, to be something, to create something. So life is, my dad and my grandpa said, is too short. Life is too amazing to not take it and live it and be responsible for that. So I did a brief, just like an introduction presentation. As Dr. Aaron said, I'm born in Chile, but I have the bias thing, which I grew up in Argentina, which is sort of like, what? And then I came back to Chile and did all my college. I have a bachelor degree, will be here as an agronomist. It's an engineer career. So then I did my MBA at the business school in Chile. And then during the pandemic time, I used my time and I did the UCLA executive program. So I'm the kind of guy who I'm not a big fan of the doing a lot of academics because I like the day-to-day things doing. But also at the same time, I like to have I always say this analogy, the pizza needs the base, the dough, to put toppings on top. Otherwise, it's not going to be a pizza, it's going to be a salad. So then for me, the academics is the dough of the pizza, basically. Is that Bakersfield, 2015. My wife, my kids, we had an amazing opportunity. We had a lot down there at the Windermere, and we built a house. That was amazing. The whole process to be here in the Valley, San Joaquin Valley, has been awesome for me. I've been living in a lot of different states since 2005, permanently, mainly East Coast, Cincinnati, Ohio, so go Bengals, and New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, go Eagles then. And then I spent 3 years in Charlotte, North Carolina, so go Panthers. So anyway, lovely Bakersfield. Bakersfield is my home. That is what I call my home. Today, the introduction, which is basically what I already did, but I want to pick your brain with from classroom to work environment, questions and fears. And the only remember what I do have about that time is the fear what I had about what I'm going to do. Do I going to be able to do something, or do I going to love what I'm going to do? And I was still studying, and I didn't know what is going to happen. Then knowing yourself to improve and determine action plan. That is a basic thing. That's my way to be. AG business environment, areas of development. I'm going to be roughly on that. And then the takeaways. So from classroom to work environment, my big fear was, do I going to be able to do something? Do I going to be smart enough, or do I have enough experience to do something? Today, being a business owner and working with different companies, corporations, and that kind of stuff, we, the companies, need you guys the most plain and clean as possible. We don't need you knowing almost not a lot. It's totally opposite. I really need new brains, clean brains, ready, eager to learn, understand, get knowledge, but also what I most value it on everybody who's doing an interview with me is, what is your ambition? I don't need somebody to come to my office or go to the field and do from 7 to noon, 1 to 5, or whatever, Monday to Friday, an amount of hours and get paid. I don't need that. I need somebody who wants to be the owner of my business. That is the guy, that is the person who's going to be the most valuable diamond for me. So the most important is you for any business, not the business itself, if you have the ambition and the desire. So don't be afraid with that thing. It's going to be my first takeaway. You are ready when you know nothing about it. Then you're ready. Mm-hmm. Knowing yourself and why. In my experience, I knew a lot of different things, but according to the years past, I understand myself like I need challenge. I am ambitious. I need to be busy. Otherwise, I'm going to play guitar and sing around and probably get some coins. I'm going to do nothing. If I don't have the hook, the motivation, if I don't have the target, if I don't have a big plan to do something, I'm not going to do it. So I knew that for myself. So then I said, okay, I'm Chilean, born in Argentina, and I live here. So, okay, I need to live in a big country. I need to move to live in a big country. I need to work in a big company. I have to go on that ladder and be in the corporate competition race. I need to be the top of the top. I knew that. So that is why immediately, why you need to know yourself, because when you know yourself on those little things, so then you can plan and take action. I'm a believer on plan and take action of people. You have the power to do whatever you want. So when you are planning your future, when you're planning what you're going to do, what you're going to be, and then I know probably when somebody at 58-year-old or almost 59 is telling you this thing today, okay, but you almost forgot when you were 20, 17, 18, 21, 22, when you didn't know how to do it, how to do all of the things. No, I'm not forgetting that, really. What I'm thinking is, from then, as of today, I'm still learning about myself and planning the next step. If I don't have ambitions, if I don't have the desire to do things, if I really don't feel the spark, find it. Look in yourself and find it. You're going to find it. You have that spark somewhere. And no matter what it is, but all the patterns, because when I see here, the AG business environment, areas of development, I just put a few, but it's not because as an agronomist, you can be all of the things. You can do operations, logistics, your brain is mathematics, your brain is science. Forget about the science to put a cherry, what you pick today, and you put it in a bag, the bag in a box, the box in a pallet, the pallet in a chip, and the chip is 45 days later somewhere in Asia, and somebody's taking that pallet from that container, putting it in a truck, and that truck traveling another 2 days to Yunnan in the province in the north of China. And somebody down there take that box 55 days later and open the box and take the cherry and say, oh, wow, that's perfect. The technology, the science behind that is amazing. So I already mentioned one tree, one piece of fruit. And you have field agronomists for that, production, operations, logistics, process, human resources, a lot, administratives, owners. So why not the administrative to be in the owner of that? The financial side, international sales. You have to speak English, but it's not only to speak English. Yesterday, I said to Dr. Aaron, I spent the whole day with the guy from Wales. I can tell you that English is totally different. So, marketing. I always say this thing. Everybody drink Coca-Cola and they don't drink water because marketing. Retail stores. Every time I fly or go to everywhere in the world, any place, China, Europe, South America, US, East Coast, West Coast, I go to any grocery store to see the fruit. And of course, when you go and see an apple, I don't see an apple. I see everything what I already explained to you. Everything. The whole logistics. The final takeaway, what I had when I was 15-year-old, there is a Mexican, was a very famous poet. I think he passed on the 1840 something, Amado Nervo. And he was very, very young. And I read his poem about a person being in bed the last day of his life and just being basically okay with how was his life. That is basically the summary of the poem. If you find it, if you Google it, at peace in English, and paz in Spanish, but it has some key things which has been for me since I am 15-year-old until today, my life takeaway. It said, very close to my sundown, I blessed you, life, because you never gave me false hope. I see at the end of my rough path that I was the architect of my own destiny. Life, you owe me nothing. Life, we are at peace. And the reason why that hooked me is because if I am the architect of my own destiny, when I'm going to start taking actions. So that is the main takeaway what I had on my 50-year-old as of today. is still a motto for the day to day. The architect of my own destiny is here right now. So be your architect and be ready for your next step. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so good. Okay, so got some questions here, and I shared them earlier with David. But again, it's open to if any of you have a question. There are mics on the side. Please, if you want to go up there and ask a question. So I can get started. So you can see one of the things I really appreciate about David is just his take on life, right? And the poem that you just saw, I think that is what describes. So that's what I thought. It doesn't matter what you do, but there's always inspiration. You can always find inspiration. And one thing I can tell you, can I share? He just recently finished Ironman in Switzerland. Wow. Right? I don't know what all you know what Ironman is, but it includes 2.5 miles of swimming, which took about 2 hours, a 26-mile running, and followed by 112 miles of riding a bike in Switzerland through the mountains. It took almost 16 hours. So you're just 16 hours. You're just swimming, going. That's a shame. So that's the amazing thing. And I have a hard time staying for 2 hours. I don't swim for 2 hours.
Yeah. You put a friend in the followers and really it's very there every year. It's a reason why. As I told you, it's a reason why. And my grandfather died with Alzheimer's disease. My father died with Alzheimer's disease. And I said to all of my kids, you're going to see me. So then my plan is to exercise and eat well the rest of my life. Never got Alzheimer's. So I can have an accident. It happened last summer when I said and that's crazy. But I'm not outside. I'm not getting a chance to go outside. So that is the reason why. Again, when you have a motivation, when you have a reason, right, you have to decide to do things. Again, that's you are the architect, you are in charge. Nobody is in charge. You can believe, you can have faith in there are different things in family, friends, the country, the government, God, the church, the people, society. No problem. That is going to help you as an architect to mission accomplish on whatever you say. I read in the room like this, bigger room in speech, and the guy was talking about how he has tired about this. I can't do that. So that is the way I did that. But anyway, 60 hours so much. I mean, the program is good at 8 hours. And to me, the most appreciated thing to do that is to have my wife and my family and kids caring and spending 60 hours the whole day to see the guy passing by. So that is the most important thing. That's my favorite strength.
Okay, great. So you mentioned about the sharing and the travel, right? So,
Yes.
So we go to the grocery store and we just expect food to be there and for it to look perfect. Right? You can pick out an apple, but it's not shining out and all stuff. So obviously, as I said, there's a lot that goes into it. And your company sources food from across Latin America, California, Morocco, and beyond. So what are some of the biggest challenges in managing such a global supply chain?
Yeah, first of all, it's the relationship. Now, in this war environment, since forever, I've been having 2 talents in my whole life, and one of the talents I have. So the experience to meet people. And when you like to talk to people and you like to meet them, I mean, it's awesome to meet a guy from Argentina, Morocco, Turkey, Japan, or Brazil, or Peru. Besides that, you have to go sometimes to meet them. You have to meet their food, which is awesome. You have to learn from them what's going on, and you have one thing in common, which is fresh produce business. This is amazing. The big challenge is to be open-minded to understand the other side of what's going on. Because being an agronomist from Chile with knowledge on how to produce cherries, for example, it doesn't mean I know how the Colombians, Peruvians, or Moroccans that are producing cherries. It's not the same thing. So I have to be open mind to understand their side and not think my words their words. My word is here. Each one of you has your own word, and we can together to something big. The fifth challenge is to be really enough open mind to understand what's wrong and find solutions together.
Okay, great. So, as you transition from owning your own business, then joining a corporation, and moving into leadership and stuff, what are some of the lessons you learned early on that helped you get this mindset?
It's easy to talk about it now, but of course, every day you have stress. Every day you have to face things because things happen. Events that you always feel ready and feel ready for the next step. When you start in the morning and you're at home, 7 a.m. in the morning, you just won't read because you have a big fire in your product and you have 5,000 fires, which is roughly 500,000 boxes carrying $20 each. So $10 million inventories to burn. Oh, what did I do? So somebody is calling because he's an earthquake in Chile, and all of those fires and all of those horse products are coming down, and all of the results are supposed to be received here in the state. You already have commitments with the cost of it, and it's an earthquake, and it's very thing with it's fun now. So what are you going to do? Well, it's season every day. I mean, why did you do it? I mean, so you have to make decisions like these, and again, the first transition when you are in charge is a lot of stress, but also at the same time, it's a lot of rewards with every decision that you make. Because for good or bad, again, it's what you do when you work every day. And as the time passes, you understand that, oh, it seems like I'm good doing this. So all of us understand the reason why the result is going south, right? So yeah, that is the important side of moving from that side to that side. That's also a decision.
Any other question or yes?
So, one quick side note. The triathlon started when my first one in 1970. They biked first,
Yes.
then they ran, and then they swam.
Yes.
And they decided this was not a good idea.
Correct.
Because when you're walking in a marathon, you're tired, you start walking, you have swimming and drowning.
That's that's right.
They changed that.
Yeah.
A lot of people walk away. So,
Yeah, that's correct. And slow that me 2 hours from this position in the water, start feeling the cramps on the legs. So, good luck trying to walk after that.
so when you have all those things that you've experienced and you've had responses versus reaction,
Yes.
who was your mentor?
I would say everybody who I've been working with, all of my peers, all of my partners, all of my colleagues, all of my employees, all of you who have been with me, because I read one time the book about the CEO solitary time. When the person in charge is totally alone, nobody else to make a decision. It never happened in my life. I always have friends, people, partners, colleagues, employees, friends, basically people. That is your best support, for sure. Besides family, of course. But going just to the business is everybody's on the side. And also, when I work for somebody, which basically I always work for people, I work for everybody who's buying products. That's my customer, that's my client, so I work for them. So every time I work for anybody, as a colleague or partner or peer, I care. I try to be a support guy and don't worry about that. We're gonna make it happen. So one of the things that we have about this, because it's products, agriculture. Every day you have to let to have whatever side is in time. So if you have that too, I mean, days go pass and suddenly you have it all. Yesterday was Monday, this Friday. Anybody else? Question? I don't know that question to provide, so.
Let's see, while they're thinking,
So if anybody can tell me why you are now having these speakers conversations about HE business? Are you thinking about HE business in the future? Do you have any question about it? Any question? Please, go ahead. Your name is?
I'm Seema Richardson.
My name is Angel Asensio, and back to what you were saying about mentors. My question is, what is some of the best advice that you have received from a mentor, something that has helped you come along this whole way?
Yeah, I think I understand the question, but we can forget the first things when everybody, okay.
My name is Angel Asensio, and I was just wondering, what is some of the best advice that you have received from a mentor, whether it has been an employee, your friends, family? What is something that has stuck with you and has helped you become or grow your business to what it is today?
Thank you. I'd love to, one of my former bosses, I was at the basement. I was in college, and I worked in the summertime. And one night in a conversation, he said to me, very cheap, and he said to me, if you work at club, you're gonna be so far away. So anyway, but the real one of my former bosses, he always had that saying, which is always in here. We do what we say to people. And when I really internalize that, when we do what we say we're gonna do, and when we do what we already said we're gonna do, it's very easy. You really speak well. I said I'm here at 5:50. It's what I mean. And then everybody around you start getting that like, he said that, it's not true.
What's your resentment? She best murmuring cake, all sacred sheep on the diving that I don't be able to play because she's under it. So, here, and so, don't be left tips to things. I think it's a part of the mental surprise to eat us. Anybody else or? Oh, without.
Yeah, it's working. And I was very interested in your, whatever it was, triathlon or the swimming part of it. I have heard so much that swimming extends your life because it's a mix of everything with dancing, walking, pumping iron, you name it, your body does everything. And I was wondering, can you convince your company to do something about putting a pool for students.
Really also, my son is. One of the things, sorry, that's a question, right?
That's one question.
So one of the things when I learned here in the States, and so why I really love to be here and do the same business where I started many years ago. The American society, the learning part about capitalism in a good way. So make money, which is the way how we measure everything. Again, I'm 58, almost 59, but I can do one thing. If I had the opportunity in my early stage in life to have this kind of conversation and advice, I would do that before, because in your life span time, you have a time to learn. And I always talk to my kids and their friends, between 1 to 15, you really learn everything. From 15 to 35, you are setting yourself like, oh, okay, who I'm gonna know about myself, what industry, but from 35 to 50 is when you really do business. For me, America is the best. It's the best environment because here we do everything with capitalism in a good way. I'm going to answer the question. After that, you enjoy yourself. You enjoy your life because you already did the hard part, 50. So after the 50, you enjoy what you're doing. And then you start going to college and see people and try to get there and try to put some part of your experience and all that kind of stuff. But every time I propose to do anything, I have to find a way how to promote where's the money on. So I can build a pool and I can do swimming classes and do all of that kind of stuff with the good target. And I didn't find it. I didn't find that yet, but if I find it,
Thank you so much. I shared this when you mentioned from 1 to 15, you're still finding yourself, learning, growing, whatever, and then from 15 to 35, you're searching who you are. In my case, it was a little different. I grew up a daughter of a father who was in the British Army. So we traveled quite a bit. And my mother was the daughter of a British sergeant, police sergeant, and that's somewhere in the world. Both of them are transferred. So we traveled quite a bit. And I, from day one, when my kids grew to a point where they could travel by themselves, I had them trained schools with Tufts College in France, with Cairo University, with different places in the world. And I wonder what your views are on promoting students to trade their schools with other schools, because life opened up for them in a way, but if they had just stayed in one school and not had the experiences they had, they wouldn't have met their future partners. They wouldn't have grown to be what they are. One is an attorney in New York, an SEC attorney traveling all over the world. And then the other is a consultant in Santa Barbara. And they would not have had these opportunities had they not traveled. Long story short, I dedicated my life to my husband and my kids. My husband's passed away. My kids are well settled and doing what they do best. I decided to go back to school. I'm 74 years old. Yes, thank you. I generally in class say I'm 35 to life. So this is a big disclosure for me. Do not remind me that I said this. But I realized that I have a hunger for education now. And I actually discuss with my professors why, how. I want to learn. When one of my professors introduced me to Milton. Oh God, I hated him. And I thought, why in the world are you pushing me to take this class where, it's a requirement for master's in English literature? I'm one semester short of my master's in communication. So as soon as I finish that, then I'll be ready. I just take one class at a time. And the second assignment he gave me on Milton was, wow, I got it. So I wrote to him and I said, I got it. I know why you're so impressed by this poet. But I would have never done that had I been this age or younger age. I would have said, I hate him and that's it. And if I get a B- or whatever, I'm acing the class at 100%. I don't think I've gotten one single assignment that was graded below the full marks. And that's because I love it. My kids ask me, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you torturing yourself and putting yourself through this? I don't have an answer for them. I just want to do it. It's my time. And it came a little late in life. So I'm so impressed by the fact that you're trying new things and your travels to Morocco, to Turkey, to Argentina. It makes me feel that there are other people like me. And I wish people would do that more than things like what are happening in Palestine would start, because we'd be a more inclusive world. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Speaking of the world travel and things, you got a question since it is, as I said, an agricultural trade class. So, one thing we know that's happening right now are tariffs.
Yes.
So, for those of you who are not aware, a tariff is a tax on an imported good. So that makes things that we import expensive. And even though we produce a lot of agriculture, a lot of food here, we still import from Chile and other things, so we can have the cherries in the winter time and stuff. So how are tariffs impacting your business, and what are the strategies you're employing to mitigate their effects?
So there are written facts. I can talk about facts. We had 3 years ago, forget about COVID, that was the biggest problem for every business. And we have the best year for us in our business. We sold tons of citrus. We brought citrus from Israel, from Morocco, from Egypt, from Chile, from Peru, from Argentina. We opened a lot of new businesses, and we went every week sold out. Okay. Now, we supply big things, we supply Walmart, we supply big accounts here in the United States. So when you make a commitment to give them 1 box or 100,000 boxes of something, better be careful, otherwise the problem. They don't care it was COVID or was
But the Suez Canal was closed because a big boat crossed the whole canal and nobody passed by. And that is the only way to get out of South Africa. So what are you going to do? They don't care. The customer to pay here in the States, they say Walmart, they say, okay, not my problem. Here's the contract. You say you're going to have this amount of boxes here today. There you have it. So the challenge there is the reaction, and a team, again, as I mentioned before, I started growing. So what I'm going to do as an agronomist, what I have to do with the geopolitical things, not, right? I mean, somebody else is going to find the solution for that. Oh no, it's my turn to make a decision about it. So in real life, you have to make the decision and find a way how to. The solution is always on the side of the cook, always. And it's not only the same, because you have your problem and you look on the side, oh, find the solution. And it's always that way. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's easy, but it's always there. So, for example, during the COVID, what we did, we opened, here's another fact, Argentina. Argentina produced lemons. They eat those lemons and they export basically like industrial category, mainly to Europe, mainly Russia. They don't have those nice fancy lemons what Japanese consume at the hills, for example. That's another level of quality. So then that year with the COVID, they said, Argentina, if you produce this amount of lemon, you are open 10 states, not on the West Coast, but on the East Coast. So we took containers from Tucumán, Argentina, we put in the truck, cross the track, the whole Los Andes mountain to Valparaiso, put in a boat, and the boat to Philadelphia. And we supply our customers with Argentinian lemons or peanuts. So how we get that, how we created that, my grandfather used to say that when you have meats, then the organs are going to come out. So, I mean, the needs create the solutions. Next.
Thank you. Yeah.
So like,
Any questions from the audience before everyone? Yes, go ahead.
Nyakundi Micheka from the Department of Economics. So you've done business for a couple of years, and over time, working with other countries, what have you seen change in the way your business has changed? How would you conduct business?
basically, I would say nowadays, the big impact on the way how we do business is communication. It's very easy. I'm the kind of guy who flew from Chile to Philadelphia to be at the port opening pallets, wooden boxes with hammer, taking out the knives, and opening the boxes to show to the grower the fruits and take pictures with photographies. With later on, I went back to Russia. CDs not even exist there. I mean, there was something else where you take all of the photos, put in an envelope, and send on FedEx or DHL back to Chile for them to see the picture. That is sort of like in using a cassette to listen music, but not everybody knows what a cassette means. So today, technology, I would say the biggest change on every business, how to do business, technology. And I try to think about 10 years from now, and I think it's still very clear. Technology, the same thing, but it's going to disrupt everything else, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, your answer was great. I was just thinking, by the time you take pictures of those fruits and you send them, will the fruit still be the same way when the pictures is?
That was just to report how that arrived. That's it, because it's part of the contract. But I mean, today you have the same thing online on time. I remember the first time I read a video of a packing house in Brazil, and I upload the video to the cloud, and then somebody else 6-7 hours later saw the video and called me, so impressed with the way how we put things in Brazil. And I was so proud, and it was me being. If you do the same with an iPhone today on real time, it's nothing. In like that, we gotta start right now connecting with somebody else with this conversation. I mean, before my trip to Switzerland 3 weeks ago, we have a big event in Peru, a symposium for the tobacco industry, and I was invited to be part of the panel and discussion something, blah blah blah. And usually they invite me because I have all of the information on my information about California, which is a key event. So that is the main reason why they invite me. So and say, I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm traveling next day. And they say, okay, but can you do that online? No, of course I can do that online. Same panel that this one with 5-6 persons doing the discussion panel. And I were behind in the big screen on time, real time from my office in Vileno in Lima, Peru at the same time. The listening. I know that for you is okay. Whatever. To me, I mean, coming from those years when they take a photography, go to the store, and 3 days later you have the photography to see it, that's a mistake. For sure.
I think so along those lines, I would say,
It's like, oh, you know, being glad. He said, "But today it's like, that thing, my reason, but we'll do it."
You're sorry.
the shipment with, when you send it, somebody looks at the shipment and the fruit isn't what they thought it would be and will do a return.
Oh, yeah, of course, because accident happens. If the food doesn't have the quality or condition required to get into the program with the retailer, of course, it's your job to find a second house for that, for sure, and still make money. Yes, the answer is that. Yeah, yes.
So in terms of the technology and stuff, there's a lot of students here. Many of them in agriculture, some of them in business and other majors. So what skills do you think will be most valuable for them in the next 10 years?
As I said before, first, ambition. Yeah, the ambition. The second one, motivation to do whatever you want and believe in yourself. You are capable. You are all, no matter, you are all able to do what you decide. That is why you know yourself. So then you decide what can I do. But don't take that as an, like the only one thing that you're going to do for life. I still remember my time at school thinking about what I'm going to do. And then later on, and when I came to my agronomist career, being like a technical advisor to fields and planting vines and harvesting, pruning, exporting, then I said, oh, okay, seems like the money here is not being grown, it's like exporting. So then I get into the export business. And then I said, oh, okay, if I know everything about the pesticide, if I know everything about the weeds, if I know everything about the vines and varieties, nobody cares because I have to, first of all, learn how to sell it. Oh, okay, so sell it. So then an MBA has to be the law to put something for sale. So then I'm able to talk about EBA, TBA, and that kind of stuff, and my knowledge about numbers and the last line of the budget. And, oh, okay, now I see content. So then the agronomist is the guy who does all of the export, all of the commercial side, all of the financial side. And then you have to deal with the bank because you need money to operate the business, right? So how to be a credit line? Just ask for it. But then they're going to ask you for, oh, okay, so when you're feeling with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 collateral or something, and then you start learning about that. So then you have to put all of that in place. Now, I'm talking about the whole life experience working. But I'm telling you today, whatever you're doing today, it doesn't mean you have to do the same thing for the rest of your life. But it doesn't seem also you have to change. You can do that for the rest of your life. Do see if you enjoy it, if you are really happy doing it, if you are getting from there where you are hoping to there. So yeah, it's too fast. It was yesterday. Going to school and learning things. Just would have courage. To me, everything was yesterday. Oh. Having kids scholar, still yesterday. So doesn't mean you have to stick to one thing. I will say, again, knowledge about yourself, ambition, and consistency. Do what you say you're going to do. And that is the perfect. That is the first way to be in a success pattern as a dad, for sure.
Any other questions from the audience?
Yes, please.
So,
Thank you for your talk. I am Dr. Logo. And then we continue on Dr. Checker's question. I was wondering how automation has affected job availability in your ed.
Automation.
Automation
Oh,
affected job availability.
process?
I mean, I'm sorry?
Automation on the process?
In the process, yes. Whichever area automation has affected negatively job availability.
I'm not 100% sure I understand
So the-
what means by
so-
automation.
Automation, like technological advancement, whereas how is it affect the jobs in the industry?
Okay. It has been part of the technology what I spoke before in communications, for example, but also robotics, for example, on the process plant facilities is a big help because today the best way to improve any margin of the business is to do the investment on the machinery, which is not going to be sick or old or I cannot go today because I have to use so that's all. It happened, for example, with the grower of us in Murcia in Spain. They do have robots filling all of the boxes with pallets for transfers of crates. They have robots taking those boxes instead of pressing to take the box and put the pallet. The robots do that. And they do have palletizing, everything with robots. So you put 90 boxes. We do here in California in our shields where people take the box, 19 pounds, put on a pallet, and they tie 90 boxes per pallet. So 6 down, 15 up. And they do that with robots. Now, their investment numbers is like 8 years to base on the machines. Before 8 years is expense. So basically, all of these solutions on automation are great. We do have a packing house in Delano where we produce amounts of tranches. We do bicolor and tricolor. Probably you're familiar with a transfer of 2 pounds or 3 pounds of wood beside the 2 colors of rags, 3 colors of rags. And we do that in our cold storage. And we have all the food available for people just to orderly cold, everything in the cold storage. And we have 120 people or 105 people filling the glances, putting in the glances and closing, marking the food safety side and living in a bed and forget about it. And then the whole machine where we have take all of those plant trains, put a sticker on it, the robot, and measure the weight, which is exact, no more than that, no less than this. And then a person take the gland and put in the box, and the box is on the pad. So everything in the first storage pad. Everything is automatized. We can do 3 loads of tranches, bicolor, tricolor per shift, 8 hours. Now, how you're going to do this in the field? Possibly because vines, blocks of the vines are one color toning. Either way, reds or greens or black. You don't have vines, one another's vine with different colors of gray. So you have to be able to take the grays, go to software to pack those, and they create the 3-color, bicolor planting. So I would say it has been a positive research and has been a positive experience automatizing process, reducing the amount of people what you need, because usually in agriculture we use a lot of labor. By the way, just for you to have in mind, usually around 65% of the total production cost on any produce is data. So everything while you work there reduce the cost, but it needs a big investment. And is no way to get an investment on automatization and then in 1-2 years pay for it. Never. So it's still. Sorry, I'm going to talk about this the whole day, but the human resource is high, but also every time you reduce that, I mean, you need somebody who's going to create the automatization system, and you need somebody to take care of it too. So it's like you're changing the duties of the people, basically.
Okay, so I want to be mindful of time. So we're at the end of the hour. So again, feels like it was yesterday, right? It just goes by so fast. So I want to thank David for coming here, doing your list. Do you have any last?
If anybody, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you all for coming. I feel very honored, you know that. If anybody can give me one takeaway, what will be your takeaway? Just one. Anybody? Go ahead, please. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
So, before we end, we've got a little something for you, David. From Penn Center. This is a bag. So you don't
wow.
questions to win all of this.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate
So much.
telling you.
Thanks for the doubt. Have a
Too late. Sorry.